All right, welcome back to Broke Bets, and today we're going to talk about UFC Fight Night Santos versus Ankalaev. That's how you say his name for sure. Kind of hard to say those Dagestani names or Russians. I'll just start from the bottom of the card and work our way up. I'm not super familiar with all of the fighters in the prelims. There's a lot of UFC Contender Series fighters that have came on here, but in our first matchup, we got Tafan and Chukli, really big African dude, really strong, heavy hitter. But he's really kind of slow with his movement. You got him versus Azamat Murzakov, and he's undefeated. I'm not really super familiar with the guy. I think in this case, I'll just take the favorite. I'll take the Russian. I think he'll probably have better cardio than Chukli will, and in the end, probably get the job done. Second matchup, Chris Matinho versus Guido Canetti. Just from the Chris Matinho fight against Sean O'Malley, you can see that he can take a shot. So going into the later rounds or further on in the fight, he might be able to keep taking strikes, whereas the other guy, Canetti, he's 8-7. Matinho's 5-9-5. Usually at the pro level, you don't really see many fighters with that many losses in 15 fights. Usually you see like a 12-3 record or something in the UFC. So I guess I'll stick with Matinho in the second fight. Third fight, we got Dolce, Dibiano, and Cody Brunnage. I remember Cody Brunnage, I think, from the Contender Series. I can't fully remember what he's done. The other guy, he looks pretty big. I guess I'll stick with the favorite in this instance and take Lungian Bola. Next matchup, women's flyweight, Sabina, Matzo, and Miranda Maverick. I think Miranda Maverick's been super active over the last couple of years. She's fought some high-level opponents. There is a height difference and a significant reach advantage for Matzo, but I've seen Maverick take the fight to the ground before. I feel more confident, I guess, in Maverick, even though the odds are really in her favor. Sometimes those female fights can be pretty unpredictable with who controls the octagon and who has the larger output. I'll stick with Miranda Maverick. I think she's going to take the fight to the ground, maybe hold her down there. Next one, Damon Jackson versus Camilla Kirk. I don't remember Camilla Kirk. I've seen Damon Jackson before. In the pick'em fight, I guess I'll just take Damon Jackson. Not too super interested in that one. Not much action. Again, many of these prelims, I don't really feel like there's not much stakes being held for bettors, gamblers in these ones. Especially with a lot of newcomers, you're kind of seeing how their cardio and other aspects of their game are going to play out. On the next one, Trevin Jones versus Havid Basharat. I think I'm going to take Havid Basharat on this one. He is the favorite. He's undefeated. I think I've seen Trevin Jones before. He's a heavy hitter, but doesn't have the best head movement. Basharat's kind of got more significant ground game. We'll see if he takes it down there. But again, it's kind of one of those things. Can you survive a round with Jones? Still not super familiar with his fight style and everything like that. A lot of these guys just been a while since they fought too. Next one, JJ Aldridge, Jillian Robertson. This one's a toss-up. I don't really have a pick for this one. I've seen JJ Aldridge. I can't remember who she upset. She upset somebody recently. And Jillian Robertson got a submission not too long ago. Yeah, I don't have a pick for this one. I'm just going to stick with what they got here. It's Robertson is the favorite, just barely at minus 125, but again, in the fight business, it's not too much. All right, now here's where I actually feel like I know something about these fights. The 7th fight is Matthew Schmelsberger, the Semi-Jedi, I think is his nickname, versus AJ Fletcher. And I might make a bold pick and pick AJ Fletcher in this fight. I've watched Matthew Schmelsberger a couple times. He's got a lot of power in his right hand, but I think he lacks cardio for going the distance. Fletcher's got a lot more takedown average than Schmelsberger. I think we're going to see him try to move the fight to the ground, get Schmelsberger tired, and then work him into the late rounds. But again, it's another one of those toss-ups where can he handle the power in the first round? Also, Fletcher's been trained with Dustin Poirier. I think I would trust somebody who's working with a talented striker every day. Schmelsberger is the bigger favorite, but at plus 170, I'd pick Fletcher in this instance. I kind of wish I saw him have another UFC fight, because I can't remember if this is his debut or if he just came off the Contender Series and he had a fight already in the UFC. I believe it's his debut. But Schmelsberger had his debut, I think, last year as well, so he's not the most experienced either. So I'll stick with AJ Fletcher. In the 6th fight, we got Alex Pereira and Bruno Silva. I think the odds are crazy on this one. I'm picking Alex Pereira, no fucking shit. He's at minus 195 right now. I think he was at like 160 earlier this week. Bruno Silva's got a lot of knockouts, but a lot of them are grueling, wearing on you knockouts. I mean, Alex is very calm striker. I think we're just going to see him move around the back, outside the octagon and probably just clip somebody with that left hook, or just amaze everybody somehow. I didn't get a bet in on that fight. I would totally put something together with Alex Pereira. Next one, Drew Dober versus Terence Mckinney. I'm picking Terence McKinney. Drew Dober seems to, he's pretty consistent for the division. He kind of is a gatekeeper to a lot of the rankings. And I think Terence has I didn't really know much about him in his previous fight, and then I heard about his Olympic wrestling background, and he's got only finishes on his resume. I think we're going to see kind of a slugfest in the first couple minutes. The fight's going to move to the ground, and I think Terence is going to find a submission. I did get a bet in for this. Last weekend, I grabbed Terence at plus 200. Since then, he's moved to plus 145, so I've gotten a lot of odds change out of that, which has been pretty great. This is probably one of my most exciting ones for the night. This is 2 hype train fights in a row. We got, Alex Pereira is going to, if he continues to do this, he's going to work his way towards Izzy, which is amazing. And then, if Terence keeps this up, he'll work his way to a ranking and possibly to a top 10 fight in this next year, which would be absolutely awesome, considering we haven't really seen many hype trains in the lightweight division that haven't been Russian. So, next fight, this is a fucking hard one to pick. Cleel Roundtree Jr. versus Carl Robertson. My heart says pick Cleel Roundtree Jr. and I think the odds and all else say pick Carl Robertson. They're both kind of kickboxers. Carl's I think a standard kickboxer. He actually fought professionally in that instance. Cleel Roundtree Jr. is a Muay Thai fighter. I want to pick Muay Thai, but I know Cleel struggles sometimes with his head movement, and then not having super straight punches from time to time. I haven't seen the most of Robertson. He's gotten taken down in his fights, and he's got finished against high-level competition. And Cleel's, he's gotten taken down in the same instances and had that happen to him. I do want to stick with Cleel, and I want to pick an underdog pick, so I'm going to pick Cleel Roundtree Jr. I love cheering for the guy. I love his technique. I think he's a real good person, so sticking with him. That's another underdog. You can add it to the 3 I've already picked. Next fight, Sadiq Youssef versus Alex Caceres. I'm picking Sadiq. Alex Caceres is pretty consistent. He reminds me of Cowboy Alvarado a lot in the featherweight division. Fast, submission ability, good ground game, good stand-up. Pretty all-rounded, good fighter. Sadiq Youssef moved his way up, and even though I saw Sadiq fight Arnold Allen in his last fight, I thought Arnold actually controlled the fight for the first 2 rounds, and he actually looked kind of tired in the 3rd round. Sadiq kind of just walked him down. I think Sadiq is, with more experience under his belt, going to keep moving his way up the featherweight division. Kind of excited to see what happens in this one. I would predict Sadiq by decision win. Next matchup, the sad matchup, Marlon Marais versus Sonia Dawn, and I feel like Marlon can never catch a break with these fights. I mean, every week he's facing, or every fight he's facing just a new killer, or just that fight against Marab, and how many knockouts he's had in a row, and it's kind of brutal to watch, but he is still dangerous. I mean, he almost got Marab out of there. He just rushed in for a finish. But Sonia Dawn's looked pretty composed and all-rounded when he's in his fights. He's got a heavy right hand. I think we're going to see a similar thing to Marlon's last couple fights, which is Sonia's going to push him up against the fence, and Marlon's going to swing heavy kicks, swing large punches, and maybe whiff them, get tired, and if it goes into a 2nd, 3rd round, Song's probably going to knock him out or take the decision. That's my pick there. And for the final fight, Magomed versus Santos. This is a tough matchup. I think the odds are still pretty absurd for it, but it makes some sense. Thiago's got 9 losses on his record. Magomed's got 1. A big part of it's like Magomed's pretty technical with what he does. Thiago's been a little bit more hesitant lately. He kind of just backed up in that Johnny Walker fight when he probably could have knocked him out pretty easily. I don't know how much of that had to do with respect for power or what. I'd pick Magomed decision currently, but there is an odd on FanDuel that said Magomed by decision or Santos by KO. I think I'd pick that. Seems like the 2 likely outcomes. Santos always just has that hammer of a hand, the Marleta, and I'm cheering for Santos to have a comeback, but it's hard to also cheer for somebody who might go on to fight for a belt soon at Ankalaev. So, yeah, I mean, the general pick would be Ankalaev, and then I think a lot of people are talking about if Ankalaev wins this fight, is he going to get a title shot? I think he might need 1 or 2 more because Rakic fought Santos and had like a boring fight, won by decision. He's been waiting. Jiri's going to do it. Depends on, if Jiri or Glover wins, what's going to happen with the next title shot too. I think what you see is Magomed should fight the loser of the title, and I think, if he wins, that is, he should fight the loser of the title, and I think Rakic probably should be the next in line. and then Jamal Hill probably should be the next following to soon get a title shot. But yeah, those are, for the most part, my picks. I can go over kind of the specific bets I looked at. So, like I said, Thiago Santos wins by KO or Magomed to win by points, plus 100. It's kind of, it might be a goofy one to do because Magomed might get that KO. I don't think it's very likely Santos is going to win by decision. But the odds are plus 100. I think, if anything, that's the best odds you might find on this fight because when somebody's a heavy favorite like Ankalaev is, it's kind of hard to find something nice in there. For three-leg parlay, I like Sonia Dong, Sadiq Youssef, and Alex Pereira. And that 3-leg will come out to plus 197. Good return, I think, for what I believe are pretty secure wins in each category. All three guys are very good, consistent. I mean, Alex Pereira's got so much fight experience. My other pick was Terence McKinney to beat Drew Dober. And, a little fun one that wouldn't be too much, maybe $1 to $5 bet, would be Magomed by points and Terence McKinney by KO or submission. I think that the final odds would come out to plus 680, but it could be something, little investment, big win. But yeah, those are my picks for Fight Night. Hopefully they turn out well, and thanks for listening, and peace.